Today, on this edition of Let's Explore This, we are going to be in Asheville, North Carolina. Specifically, we are going to be exploring a mysterious site located on Town Mountain Road, this road right here, up in that direction. Now, this road, Town Mountain Road, it is a very high road that snakes its way through a variety of high-end and very expensive mountain properties. There is, in this immediate vicinity, an unusual and mysterious castle that is the stuff of local legend and lore. Strange and weird it might be, but it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1980. So, is this a castle that one can explore? Almost certainly not. In fact, I will let one local YouTuber and explorer explain it a bit to you.
Live from the south, more specifically Asheville, North Carolina, and I am outside the mysterious and sinister Sealy's Castle. As you can see behind me, there is razor wire. Now this castle here, hidden back in the woods, has quite a notorious legacy. Long-standing belief is that it is the home of a satanic cult. And if you Google Satanism and Sealy's Castle, you'll get all sorts of crazy websites that assure you that this is the truth. Also, during World War II, it was rumored that there was a Nazi group hiding in the basement here, spying on the little town of Asheville. So, as you can see with this deadly razor wire, I don't know how close we're gonna get, but I wanted to take a peek and see just what the hell is going on here.
Now, I cannot say with any degree of certainty, but I do suspect some of that might be a bit of an exaggeration. Who knows, but things do get a bit weird as this YouTuber, known as Carpetbagger, seeks to take a video.
Sir, this man is very angry that I was videotaping the castle. I don't know what he has to hide.
I'm calling the police on you right now. You better quit taking my picture. I'll take your
You can take my picture. I'll do a selfie with you.
What'd you say?
I said I'll take a selfie with you. I don't care if you take my picture.
I just had a liver.
Okay, so let's reflect on that a bit. Is that going to happen to me? Maybe. I don't know. Likely, I am about to find out. If I see a car coming down that driveway, though, I am not going to be sticking around. Regardless, though, I am not going to be hanging around the castle grounds for long. I don't really have to. You see, I have managed to uncover a wide variety of photos from a wide variety of internet sources. So, the vast majority of this episode, it is going to be a bit of a photo essay, and in various places, I will be using footage from various points along Town Mountain Road. Okay, so I did eventually run across either the owner or someone who is caretaker of the property. I did not want to put him in the video, so I decided to grab some footage along a road and let you listen to the brief conversation. I will admit, I was not pointing the camera toward him. It is a bit hard to make out what he is saying, so this is the conversation that ensued.
Yeah, I'm doing a documentary on the Overlook Castle, and I'm just getting some footage around this particular area. My name is Raymond Majeski, and I'm moving it mostly through photos. I'm just getting some footage around here, and I'm also going to be talking about Old Toll Road. And I know that. That's why I didn't want to. Yeah, I know that. That's why I haven't been stepping on there. Yeah. Well, I was on the road though. Right. Okay, that's fine. Okay. Okay.
Now, let's begin to delve deep into the dark aura of this castle in the sky. If the National Register document starts to talk about satanic cults and stuff like that, well, I will say this much. There is this 2020 online essay entitled Stories from the Applewood Manor, the mysterious Seeley's Castle. Yes, it does say at the end that none of the previous owners were satanic worshippers. Strangely, though, the article does mention the Wells family as being the last previous owner. However, Lauren Wells, he died in 2018. Yes, this article, it was written in 2020, and it is now 2024. So, folks, tell me, who owns the site now? Well, according to Buncombe County tax records, the property is now in an irrevocable trust run by Jingle Wells. Jingle Wells. Really? So, we're getting a little Christmassy here. Well, Jingle Wells, that has got to be a reference to his daughter. You see, there is this online newspaper by the newspaper Hendersonville Lightning. It talks about Lauren Wells and his polyester empire Bunworth. Scrolling down, we have this paragraph. Here, we know the family has named their daughter Jingle Wells. Then we have this, which references the Jingle Wells Foundation. Here, if we scroll down to this, we find its donations as being to a few different religious organizations. So, could it all be a front for something much darker? Could the house be the home of an exorcist? Or could it all just be lore and superstition? Let's find out. Seeley's Castle, or Overlook Castle, or Castle in the Sky. It is one of Asheville's most pretentious private residences. It is sited on the crest of Sunset Mountain, with commanding views of downtown Asheville to the west, Chun's Cove to the east, and Tunnel Road to the south. Tunnel Road? Okay, but I wonder why it mentions the small road and not the big highway road, Highway 240. Okay, so Highway 240, at least this stretch here, its construction began in 1977. I wonder if that has something to do with it. Anyhow, the estate. It is reached from Town Mountain Road via a curving driveway that renders a full view of the southern facade, continues under a west wing, and encircles the north courtyard. In that courtyard are a fish pond and fountains, all of which run perpendicular to the main entrance vestibule. The grounds were originally landscaped in the English country manor style. Some of the plantings are said to remain. In the fashion of the Englishman's country estate, deer roamed freely about the grounds until 1929. This here is Fred Loring Seeley, the builder of Asheville's Overlook Castle. He was born in Port Monmouth, New Jersey in 1871, the son of Uriah and Nancy H. Seeley. The Seeley family was active in the publishing business, and Seeley began his diverse working life at the age of 13 as an office boy in New York. He exhibited ambition and self-motivation at an early age. As such, he began to train himself as a chemist while still just a teenager, eventually attending a college that no longer exists, a college which existed between 1829 and 1976, a college once known as the New York College of Pharmacy. At the age of 24, Seeley was offered a position as a department head in the pharmaceutical firm of Park Davis and Company, located in Detroit. There, he met Edwin Wiley Grove, a druggist from Paris, Tennessee, who had accidentally invented a process of suspending powdered quinine in fluid, a discovery that led him to a tremendous fortune. Grove requested assistance from the Detroit-based firm in perfecting a laxative Bromo quinine tablet. In doing so, he was referred to Seeley, and then a lifelong business and personal relationship ensued. A laxative, really? This castle had its roots in laxatives? That's a bit crappy. Grove, who suffered from a bronchial condition, first visited Asheville in 1897, when the mountain climate was recommended for his illness, and he fell in love with the town. Though he did not settle permanently in town until about 1905, he did establish a branch laboratory here to enable him to keep abreast of his company's experiments during his frequent visits. Grove hired Seeley to direct the Asheville laboratory, and he was obviously pleased with the younger man's abilities. Within 2 years, Seeley had moved on to St. Louis to become a principal executive of the main offices of Grove's Paris Medicine Company. There, he met and married Grove's daughter, Evelyn, in 1900, a union that eventually produced 5 children, 3 boys and 2 girls. In 1901, the two made a successful trip to Java in search of a new source of quinine for the company. The couple met a Dr. A.S. Van Ling of Holland, a later instrumental friend, on that very trip. Wow! So here is one of those Bromo quinine laxative boxes from the Paris Medicine Company. In a sudden change of career ambitions, in 1902, Seeley moved his family to his home state of New Jersey. There, at Princeton University, he pursued a liberal arts education, and he also briefly studied architecture, a preparation crucial to his later work here in Asheville. Furthermore, he also met Woodrow Wilson during this period. Meanwhile, E.W. Grove, he had been acquiring large amounts of real estate in Atlanta, Georgia, in anticipation of that town's growth as the major metropolis of the South. In 1905, Seeley moved to Atlanta at the urging of his father-in-law to establish and edit a newspaper, the Atlanta Georgian. His early family background in publishing may have also prompted him to take this new course. He popularized classified advertising and concerned himself with social causes. He had taken stands against the convict lease system and for the prohibition of liquor. In 1912, his paper was an important advocate in the South for the candidacy for Woodrow Wilson. Grove became deeply involved in real estate and development schemes here in Asheville. Again, at Grove's request, Seeley sold the Georgian in 1912 to William Randolph Hearst and returned to Asheville to take charge of his father-in-law's latest project, the construction of this, the Grove Park Inn. Seeley was responsible for the design and construction of the rustic structure, built of native stone and touted as the finest resort hotel in the world. Seeley also went on to act as manager of this inn until 1927. Now, the structure, it is eligible to receive its own episode. You see, it was listed on the National Register of Historic Places way back in 1973. Seeley probably began construction of his personal residence, Overlook, in 1914 after completion of the Grove Park Inn. He presumably employed stonemasons and craftsmen from that project for his ambitious residence. The 29-acre site employed for the construction of Overlook was given to Seeley by his father-in-law. The name Overlook, it was taken from the deer park at the site owned by Grove that served guests of the Grove Park Inn as a picnic ground offering magnificent vistas to the east and to the west from the top of Sunset Mountain. Okay, folks, tell me, why do you think this road here is named Old Toll Road? Did people have to once pay to use it? Apparently so. You see, this toll road, it snakes its way all the way here to Macon Avenue, right near where the Grove Park Inn is located. Now, once upon a time, visitors here, they would take a carriage up the toll road, this road here, to the park to observe the deer, enjoy picnics, view silent movies, and continue on a day's outing. Visitors even had the option to take a one-track tram up to Overlook Park. Wow, I wonder where that could have been. And what happened to the park? I mean, apparently, it once had a casino. Reportedly, very few photos exist of it. Well, it turns out that the park, it would become the site where Seeley would build his massive castle. Oh, by the way, while I was shooting the footage, well, you have got to see this.
I see a bear. Oh my God, a bear's on this road.
The Seeley residence was built and expanded over a period of years, with 1919 being the generally accepted date for completion of the central portion that contains the reception hall, the great room, and the first library. The new library wing and the bedroom wing were completed in 1924. With that said, let's provide a much deeper architectural survey of the castle. The structure. It is oriented on an east to west axis in an asymmetrical plan. It is of hollow tile construction, set on a foundation of reinforced concrete. It is surfaced with native stone taken from Sunset Mountain, and the stonework, it creates a tapestry effect from courses of narrow, elongated stones that are interspersed with larger, irregular stones. Asheville tradition, it maintains that the building is a reproduction of Ford Abbey in Dorset, near London. That one is a mid-12th century monastery with abbot's lodging dating from the 16th century. The central tower of the abbot's lodging does provide the best comparison, if any, to Overlook. Yes, both structures are of stone construction in the English Gothic style, and both are accented by parapets, lattice windows, and stone trim. Rows of windows above an entry are the only other similarity. Not sure if these photos are accurately depicting that entry arch. Overall, though, it appears Overlook does not follow the Ford Abbey as a direct plan. This here is a photo of the Seeley family in front of what may or may not be that entry door. Reportedly, a later owner of Overlook visited Ford Abbey and, as a layman, did not see any obvious similarities in the two structures. He suggests that if there was a design coordination, it would be in the general appearance to the front of the Abbey. Regardless, though, as far as Overlook is concerned, the facade is in two main sections. the tower and the rectangular block, which contains the great hall on the south elevation. That entire section it is capped with a parapet holding projecting merlons. The facade of the rectangular block, it is divided into two bays by the chimney. Now, this chimney, it forms a smooth arc projecting from the wall, and it is capped with 5 simple cylinders forming a unit stack. In both bays of the rectangular block lie 2 levels of window groupings having 3 rectangular sections each. Above the top level are square stained glass windows. A prominent Latin cross mullion supports square panes in each opening. The basement level does repeat this on a smaller scale. Moving now to the southwest corner of the main block, it is sided with a small decorative tower that holds a flat crown. Now, yes, the dominant feature on the south is the 3-sided tower. At basement level, a small Latin cross-shaped opening is centered in each side. The round arched opening at the main level does repeat that Latin cross mullion form. Above that is a window grouping of 3 narrow rectangular sections, each glazed with lattice panes. Reportedly, the top of the tower, it was to be used as an observatory, but due to the depressed economy, Seeley, shown here with his family in a Christmas shoot, opted to alter his plan and roughed the tower walls off in keeping with the roaring effect of ancient English manor houses. This facade treatment is repeated on all 3 sides of the tower. Moving now to the east wing, it is composed of 3 blocks. The first, it has 2 groups of rectangular window clusters on both levels. The corner or second section, it is broken by 3 sets of 2 narrow rectangular clustered openings. The parapet extends evenly with the wall surface, and the third section, it is 1 level and holds round arched windows. Moving now to the west wing, added in 1924. It is in the shape of a square, with a parapet shaped like that of the east wing. At each outside corner is a rectangular tower that holds 2 parallel lattice windows. Okay, so I am not sure if I see a tower at each corner. Maybe this is the wrong wing, though I don't think so. Also, I see 4 windows there, on both those corners. Anyway, on both the south and west side is an expansive basket-arched window, and within those square mullions you will find housed, squared, but beveled panes. An arched opening is set on the ground level of this wing. A pair of lions, said to be from the City Hall Sherman burned in Atlanta, do guard the sides. With that said, yes, this here has got to be the right wing. Within this arch lies the present main entrance to the house. Sorry, no photo of that entrance was I able to find, but reportedly it, a rectangular doorway, can be reached by a simple platform of side steps. Just outside is the entry to Seeley's office. Reportedly, the original door. It held 12 hand-carved panels depicting biblical scenes. I wonder if that might be it right there. Not sure, but moving to the northern or courtyard side of the central block. It is smaller in scale. The tower contains the original entry in a vestibule that protrudes from the main structure. In this vestibule it holds a parapet trimmed with a lightish stone. The arched doorway is similarly trimmed. And overhead is a rectangular window that holds panes of the same shape. The central block. It lies to the right of the entrance tower. Immediately to the right is a repetition of the three window groupings seen on the southern facade. Next to this is a four-section bay that is of a full height with vertical panels. Yes, that is somewhat obscured in this photo. Latticed panes can also be found here, supported by rectangular mullions. The parapet of the bay, it holds merlons that are even extensions of the wall surface. This here, it is a photo of the so-called great room, furnished with the front windows shown there to the left. Sorry, no close-up photos of the original entrance could I find. Reportedly, though, it is guarded by a door made of beams from an ancestral Sealy house in Ireland, said to date from the 14th century. The earliest section of the house includes the reception hall, the great room, and the music room on the main level. Now, it appears that what has historically been called the great room is now often referred to as the living room. As far as the reception hall goes, it provides mountain views from its three-sided bay on the south. The floors, though covered with carpet here, and walls are finished with tile, and the room, it is crowned by an oak cavetto molding, I guess the trim you can see here. Now, the reception hall. It leads to the great room, the largest in the house. The 32-high-foot ceiling is beamed, with each beam fashioned from a complete tree and extending the full width of the room. The walls are paneled with oak, 2-window height and finished in stone. A massive hooded stone fireplace is set in the south wall. Now, reportedly, embedded in the fireplace are a stone from the Tower of London and a piece of the Blarney Stone. Now, don't go asking me which stones they might be. Somewhere in that mortared collection of stones, I guess. Anyhow, the stained glass windows, some of which you see here, are fashioned into crests that represent Yale, Princeton, and the University of North Carolina, schools which Sealy's sons once attended. The windows are also said to hold the state seals of North Carolina, New Jersey, and Tennessee, the home states for Fred Sealy and his family. The group on the west wall, I guess those right here, holds the crests of Great Britain and France, along with Wilson's 1917 declaration of war. Also, in the great room is this bay that extends from the northern wall, and it contains this double-sided stairway laid in very small tile. Sorry, no close-ups of the stair could I find. Strangely, though, some photos list this as the great room. I am not so sure it is, unless the term great room came to identify two different areas, possibly as there was an old and now a new library. More on that later, but the lower level, beneath the reception hall and great hall, includes a dining room, a kitchen, some pantries, a laundry room, and a wine cellar. no photos of those, but a massive stone fireplace is said to act as the dominant feature of the dining room. An arched fireplace opening is repeated by 4 round-arched alcoves. A rectangular recess on each side serves as jams. Some stuff, I could not find photos of, but on the main level, a music room is connected to the northwest corner of the Great Hall. The glass door bookcases that surround the room reveal that it was the original library. The walls were covered in imported paper, and the flooring is tile. Yes, it does look carpeted here, but carpet could have been put over the tiled floor. And the newer west wing is entered from the music room. A stair from the covered driveway leads up to the narrow entrance gallery which connects the library with the music room. An interlocking geometric pattern of molded plaster covers the basket-arched ceiling of the entrance gallery. Here is a photo of the entrance gallery from the opposite end. The ceiling design of the gallery, it continues into the spacious library, and therein one can find the family crests of Seeley, Moore, and Leslie, likely not shown here. The library's expensive arched windows, made by the Hope Casement Company of England, have brass fixtures and are on ball rollers that enable them to fold back like a screen. The entire north wall, it supports walnut shelving with a mezzanine reached by a stationary ladder. On the northwest corner, a circular stairway leads to an office below. At the northeast is a small study off of the main room. A Tudor mantel, said to have been taken from an English manor that once belonged to Queen Victoria, is set in the southwest corner of the library. Moving now to the east wing, which contains 3 bedrooms on both levels. Sorry, no interior photos of that wing could I find, but reportedly the rooms in that wing, right there, are finished simply with oak flooring and plastered walls that are trimmed with a simple drop band molding. The oak closet doors are said to hold a feature designed by Thomas A. Edison, who is also said to have wired the house. Each door frame is said to hold a mechanism that switches on a light when the door opens. Other lighting fixtures were made by Roy Crofters, the same company that designed the lighting fixtures at the Grove Park Inn. Yes, folks, this here, it is a conceptual drawing, reportedly made by Fred Seeley, that captured the design intent of E.W. Grove for the then-new Grove Park Inn. Now, back to this wing here, the east wing, a wing that is concluded by this, a solarium. It was not completed during Seeley's habitation of the house. Still, though, I have a photo of it. As manager of the Grove Park Inn and master of Overlook Castle, Seeley would maintain a prominent social position and enjoyed bipartisan friendships with many of the nation's leading political and industrial leaders. This photo here, it shows, in autumn of 1913, Fred Seeley driving a Packard. The front seat passenger there is none other than William Jennings Bryan. In fact, visitors at the inn and later at Overlook included such notables as William Jennings Bryan, Woodrow Wilson, Calvin Coolidge, Franklin D. Roosevelt, Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, and Harvey Firestone. This photo, taken in 1918 at the Grove Park Inn, shows Seeley with Thomas Edison, Henry Ford, Horatio Seymour, and the 2 Firestones. Furthermore, Warren G. Harding met with his cabinet here at Overlook during the Teapot Dome scandal. And then there was Herbert Hoover, who was a frequent guest in 1939 during his son's lengthy stay here in Asheville for health-related reasons. Seeley's business and community activities also increased. In 1917, he went on to purchase Biltmore Industries from Mrs. George Vanderbilt. He built a new facility for the craft and homespun weaving operation here next to the Grove Park Inn. Now, I would take you inside. This, however, is a bit of a distance from and not heavily associated with that castle that lies over there. Furthermore, in 1928, Seeley was instrumental in persuading a Dutch textile firm, Enke, to construct a $10 million American Enke plant in Buncombe County. Seeley's friendship with Dutch Dr. Van Ling, whom he had met on his Java trip in 1901, was a major factor in his success. Now, this photo here, it is of that Enke plant as it appeared in 1940. Now, yes, I would take you there, but it's actually a good distance from here, likely a good 10 miles or so. Sorry, that is just too far out of bounds. So, Seeley, he took an active interest in the management of this right here, the Battery Park Hotel, which E.W. Grove had constructed in downtown Asheville in 1940, and which Mrs. Seeley purchased from her father's estate in 1940. Yes, he would still manage to continue and promote Biltmore Industries until his death. Furthermore, he was also active in a number of charitable causes, particularly aid to handicapped and needy children. Overall, Fred Seeley, he would die in 1942. So, then, what came next for the castle that stands so hidden over there? Well, Evelyn Seeley, in 1949, sold Overlook to the Asheville Biltmore College, the predecessor of the University of North Carolina at Asheville, for the sum of $125,000, of which she donated $50,000 of the purchase price. Yes, this front view photo is of the castle when it operated as the college. The deed, yes, the one shown here, specified that the main residential building, which is known as Overlook, shall be officially designated and referred to as Seeley Hall, as a memorial to Fred Loring Seeley. Wow, I bet when that castle over there acted as a college, I would have been able to get on the grounds. Got a time machine, anyone? That college, however, it would move to a new campus in North Asheville in 1961, and 2 years later, what came to be this college here sold that property over there to William W. Bond, Jr. and Associates of Tennessee, a development firm that erected a high-rise luxury apartment building on a portion of the 29-acre tract. Really? This tract? I wonder where that is or was. Not sure, but that firm in 1965 sold Overlook and 6 acres surrounding it to Jerry Sternberg, possibly this person, an Asheville businessman who used the house as his family residence for about 10 years. Sternberg offered the house for sale in 1976, but no qualified buyer ever appeared. So he went on to donate the property to Christian Books Unlimited of Montreat, North Carolina, as a gift to a charitable organization for tax purposes. Then, in 1976, Christian Books offered Overlook to Nicholas V. and Patricia Cassisi. Is this the right person? Spouse is different. Anyhow, they were a Detroit, Michigan couple active in evangelical work. This here, it is a photo of them with their son. Well, they used Overlook as a facility to establish a Christian monastery here in Asheville. Cassisi later reported that, while passing through Asheville in 1974, along this here tunnel road, he spotted the castle high on Sunset Mountain. He was inspired to claim the structure for Christian works. And in 1978, his organization, Overlook Christian Ministries, Incorporated, took title to the property for the low sum of $40,000. At the time this document was written, it was said that parts of the structure were beginning to show signs of disrepair. At that time, Overlook was being used by the Cassisi family as their residence and as a meeting hall for Overlook Christian Ministries. At that time, the organization was working to stabilize and improve the structure. That, folks, was in 1980. Circling back around to the present, we once again arrive at the Wells family. Well, we've already discussed that. You know what that means, folks? Yup. All good things must come to an end. That time has once again come. You know, that time to move on. Oh, yeah. No Satan worshipping does the document mention, but who really knows?